Take a moment to imagine that you grew up in a mystical, faraway land known simply as Wyoming, a cold, harsh realm filled with people molded by hardship and adversity for generations. Imagine still that in this presumably fictitious place, you came across a kid wearing a Naruto jacket running head down with his arms behind his back. You'd probably think that was pretty silly. You would probably see that and think the source material and anything related to it is worth writing off altogether. Things like artistic expression don't mean anything to you yet, so you don't even think twice. Time passes and you eventually forget about those goobers selling cupcakes for the anime club and move on from high school into a world filled with endless possibilities. The funny thing that you eventually learn about art is that it starts to take on a new meaning when you see it through the eyes of someone else. This is the sort of thing you learn when a pretty girl sits you down to watch anime. And this is why I compare it to an STD. Your defenses are down and you're vulnerable to infection. You aren't thinking about the consequences. You don't care that Sword Art Online is poorly written or that Kirito is a terrible protagonist because you want to keep getting laid. So you keep your mouth shut and you tune it out when she watches The Irregular at Magic High School because incest makes you super uncomfortable. But with each episode and with each show, it gets easier to buy into the idea of watching anime. In part, it's an empathetic response. You're feeling the story more deeply because she's feeling it. You start thinking things like, hey, this Attack on Titan show isn't too bad. Or this whole Full Metal Alchemist series is pretty fucking rad. Pretty soon, you're infected. You've got that shit for life. No matter how the story ends between the two of you, your appreciation for anime will likely persevere. Even if she breaks your heart, one day you may find yourself finally starting up that last show that she recommended to you. The one you've been putting off for years. It'll all come full circle, but no matter how much it hurts, you'll still find a way to feel grateful because she introduced you to something that's become a part of your life. Something that consistently pushes you to feel in a world overcome by numbness and loneliness. Something that can be both inspiring and horrifying. Something that has the potential to make you a better person or to get you through some truly tough times. I'll admit, this projection may be a bit too specific to be relatable, so I'll dispense with it and get to the point. Anime is pretty cringe from the outside looking in. High-pitched voices, jokes predicated on the perviness of any given character, and of course the aforementioned incest. There's a lot of things you have to ignore to become invested, but it's highly infectious once you get beyond that barrier. And for those of us who discovered it later in life, we likely picked it up from someone we slept with. I may have thought the whole thing ridiculous growing up, but that didn't stop me from crying through every episode of Your Lie in April. These stories have chipped away at me slowly but surely, right down to the depths of my soul, and like any good story, I've managed to find meaning in my own life through them. So I guess, if anything, this is a thank you. Thank you for making me watch some twink swordsman fight his way through a video game, and for opening me up to the stories beyond. Thank you to anyone who took the time to listen to this. I hope you found something to relate to, and I hope you'll consider giving me some more anime recommendations down in the comments. I'll be sure to check them out.